Da da da. Hey, look, I can't sign in. I have to sign in to do chat. That sucks. All right. I think we're going, right? We're going, I think. Ooh. Ah! Yeah, good enough. Hey, good morning. Welcome to yet another episode of Red Stone Lapis Lazuli. It is I, your host, Pogokido. Let's go. Let's go. Let's fucking go. Let's go. Crash. Every time. Crash. Every time the crash. Let's see. Yeah, so I had an interesting talk with the new neighbor. I have a new neighbor upstairs. Yeah, it was pretty interesting. Let everything load in. It's still loading. It's all chunk as the things load. But yeah, hey, welcome to yet another episode. What has been going on in the world? Well, a few things. I changed the rail line, and I added some houses. that's about it. So, for example, this is how it works out now. If I were a villager, I would be going along the trail, falling down, falling down to this point where I would, yeah, ride the rails the rest of the way. That's the village that I started making. That's the bridge, which I fixed to allow for stuff. Yeah. Get out. And yeah. So here, and then I made these houses for villagers. So I'm expanding the village. To do that, I had to cover up the sand. There was a lot of sand. The sandy beach was big, and I don't really necessarily want to build on sand. So like, I covered it up with some soil, and then I need to make a farming neighborhood. Like, I got the village neighborhood over there, the book neighborhood. Now I need to make like this is gonna be the tool neighborhood, the smithing, and then like I need like farming and stuff. So you know, there's lots to be done still. So, but this is a nice village because why? Because because I'm using Minecraft to make a reflection of the values I want to see in the world. So, in an earlier episode, I talked about how the United States is coming upon a new time where it has to redefine itself. And oh man, I lost it. Yeah, we're coming upon a new era where America has to redefine itself. And you want the world to be a reflection of your values. And so, in this Minecraft world, like, this village exists not because I stole villagers from their village and dragged them over here. I'm not exploiting them for their labor. by trapping them in little tiny cubes and making them do work. I'm not subjecting them to repeated harm by having zombies attack them, and then I would cure them to get discounts. No. I'm not breeding them from a breeding pod where two villagers are trapped in a square, and all they can do is breed babies who are swiftly taken away from them. I'm not doing any of that. Why is the skeleton here? Dude, you shouldn't spawn. You're not wanted here. No, all these villagers are rescued from the clutches of the mob they're in. They're all rescued. I rescued all of them. No harm, so in other words, I'm like creating a world in Minecraft that reflects the values that I think are important, which are freedom and justice. Like, I don't have a mob that would change their skin color. Maybe I should go or get a mod where I can like diversify my villagers instead of the generic. But in any case, yeah, that's what makes this village special. That's why it's unique. Because no harm was done to the villagers. Like, it's typical to treat villagers as NPCs. But you don't have to do that, right? It's a sandbox game. Like, sure, you can not do that. Like, it's a sandbox game. But why not try? And it turns out it's not really that bad. I mean, I haven't died, but like it wouldn't be that hard to make a deal with the armorer and the weaponsmith and the toolsmith to get more tools cheaply. And I've got a ton of books and a ton of librarians, so it's not like it's that much of an inconvenience not to have them trapped in a 1x2 cell, or to not have them labor in a box where they can never leave. So yeah, right, it's nice. Okay. This is the other way to go back. Oh! No damage, no fall damage from minecarts. If you land on tracks. I found out, I guess you do take fall damage if you don't land on tracks. So this is a showcase here of the Rethinking Voxels engine. Like, you can see how the light is shaped by the environment. So I can do these spotlights. And it's pretty cool, man. You can't do that with regular Minecraft. I really like these shaders because of how they make the light become something more important instead of just a blob. Vampires. Beware of the vampires. All right. So. I still have this janky way of getting down to the village. I need to make a better way. Okay. Well, let's talk about what's been going on in the world. So, one thing to note is is, you know, let's back out of Minecraft and talk about the real world. This is a map of the border between Russia and Ukraine. What this map signifies is the Ukrainian forces invading Russian territory and attacking inside and holding Russian territory. So what this map doesn't show is further south, the Russians are invading and trying to take over a Ukrainian city. So what the Ukrainians are doing is a counter invasion. They're doing a counter invasion, which is pretty ballsy, right? That's pretty crazy to send your troops into battle on the soil of a foreign nation while that foreign nation is attacking you. But like it's a good sign. To me it's a sign of yeah, it's a good sign. So yeah, good sign. Furthermore, remember that Ukraine wanted F-16s. For the longest time, they wanted F-16s. And they finally got them. They finally arrived. Now, the F-16s aren't going to be like a super jet that like destroys everything. It's just a plane, and it's like an older plane. But it's sufficient to help with the air defense. So what Russia tends to do, you see this map here. When Ukraine invades, they don't kill random civilians. They don't go looting the civilian houses and stuff. They don't do any of that stuff. They're going after strategic initiatives like train stations and fuel depots and things like that. They're not concerned with the civilians. But when Russia attacks Ukraine, Russia is a terrorist nation. So they attack markets and schools and residential buildings and like places where regular people live and they have no military significance. That's what Russia attacks with its missiles. Because Russia uses terror. Russia's goal is to terrorize the people into giving up. So you can see in their battle tactics how the two sides are different. Ukraine is going after military targets, and Russia is going after civilian targets. So the F-16s that Ukraine just received will help Ukraine defend its civilians from Russian missile attacks. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing that Ukraine is getting these F-16s. It's fantastic. It's great. It's like good to have good news on the front, like because it's been like pretty much a stalemate for like a little while now. What else do we got here? You know what? I want to talk about how Donald Trump is going to try to take over the election, or take over the country, during this next election. We're like less than 90 days away from the election. Like that's gonna go quick. 3 months is gonna go quick, super fast. So in the past, the way that their strategy worked was the Republicans / Confederates. Like some Republicans want to say like, oh yeah, my party has changed. It's no longer the party I recognize. And I'm going to tell you, that's bullshit. That they have always been this way. The Republic since like 1965. Republicans have been that way. Have been the party of racism. Like, maybe you didn't realize it, but that doesn't change what it is. It's been that way for like a long time since you've been alive. Unless you're super old, right? I mean, or not super old, but like, yeah, older. So yeah, the Republican Party has always been like a racist party, a party opposed to the fundamental values of the United States, which is freedom, liberty, and justice. Truth, right? Because you can't serve liberty and justice without truth. How do you see? How can you see anything? All right. So it's good news that Russia's getting pushed back. Now you have to remember, what does that have to do with us? What does that have to do with the United States? I mean, other than the fact that Ukraine is receiving aid from the United States. Remember that Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin have a deal. That Donald Trump would give Ukraine to Russia in exchange for Russia helping out Donald Trump to take power. That's their deal. So don't forget it, right? Just because Donald Trump hasn't gone to prison for that yet doesn't mean you can forget it. Like, it actually happened. It actually is real. Donald Trump really made a deal with Vladimir Putin to deliver Ukraine to Russia in exchange for Putin's help. That really happened. So, and he wants to do it again. He still wants to do it. So it's not like it hasn't stopped. But then the interesting thing is that a report today or yesterday came out in Politico, and they say, Politico says, that there's the Donald Trump's campaign got hacked. Man, that was hard to say. Donald Trump's campaign got hacked. They got hacked by a foreign government, hostile government. Oh no, I didn't mean to kill that guy. Shit. Oh well. It's hard to see, really. Like, anyways. So yeah, Iran reportedly, Iran hacked the Trump campaign and stole information, and then revealed that stolen information, some of it, to a journalist, because Iran or the hostile foreign government doesn't like Trump. So what's it called? Okay, so they're saying it's Iran, and they don't like Trump. Somebody gave some information to a journalist because they want to harm Trump. The information the journalist got was opposition research on JD Vance, like, and it's authentic. It's real. It's like the real file from the Trump campaign. So the Trump campaign, before they picked JD Vance, did opposition research on JD Vance, which is research on a person when you want to, like, hurt their reputation and hurt their standing, hurt their credibility. Like that's why it's opposition. You're researching to find reasons to oppose them. Why they're not legitimate. and they released it to this journalist. The journalist didn't publish it, but that was the hope of the foreign actor, that the journalist would publish the stolen information, or that the Harris campaign would use the information it stole against Donald Trump. Now, Harris didn't do that. She did not do that. That makes her different. Remember in 2016, Donald Trump, the Trump campaign was all about using information stolen by a foreign hostile government for itself in order to help itself win the election. That was Donald Trump. The Trump campaign met Don Jr., I think Eric was there, and I think all the players were there. Like, I don't know if Paul Manafort was there. I think Roger Stone was there. Anyways, the Trump campaign met with Russians in Trump Tower because the Trump campaign believed they would receive information harmful to the Clinton campaign from the Russians. They did that. They believed that. That's why they showed up. That was their intent, to get information stolen from the Clinton campaign in order to hurt the Clinton campaign so that the Trump campaign could win with the assistance of a foreign hostile government. That's what they believed when they went up there. Now, the Russians who went up there, they did a switcheroo. They did a switcheroo. They said, no, we weren't going up there about information for Hillary Clinton. We were meeting for Russian adoptions of Russian children. That's the reason for our meeting. But you have to understand, Russian adoptions is quote code. It was the coded way of talking about Ukraine. They want the sanctions. They want the sanctions off of the oligarchs. The United States and the West have all these sanctions placed on Russian oligarchs. So all of their money is locked up. So Russia really wants those sanctions gone. So when they talk about Russian adoptions, they're not really talking about Russian adoptions. They're talking about the sanctions on the oligarchs. So by this way, they made plausible deniability. They can say, oh yeah, we weren't offering dirt on Clinton. No. We were talking about Russian adoptions, which is really sanctions. Take sanctions off of Ukraine. Or off of Russia. But the Trump campaign thought it was getting dirt, getting information from a foreign government that a foreign government stole from the other campaign to use against the campaign. In this instance, same thing happened. The hostile foreign government hacked a political opponent, stole information, and then offered that information to hurt the candidate. But this time they didn't release it. They didn't do it. Do you see the difference? Do you see the difference between the people, the parties? One party will accept help from a foreign government in order to take power. The other party will not. The Trump campaign will take help from a foreign hostile government to take power. The Harris campaign will not take information from a hostile foreign government to help its campaign. Like, these differences are bare. They're just out there. All you have to do is look. So, yeah. Alright, what else have we got going on? Oh, I was talking about the coup. So what Donald Trump is going to do, how he's going to take power. So the first attempt, not the first attempt, but the last iteration of the coup, of Donald Trump's coup, was the January 6th insurrection. The point of the mob was to delay the proceedings long enough so that they could move the whole thing to the Supreme Court, where the Supreme Court would award the presidency to Donald Trump, like they did to W. Bush. And this time, Donald Trump isn't inside the government. Hey, what's up, Coolie Man 707? Yeah, fuck Donald Trump is what I say. This is how Donald Trump is going to try to steal the election in 2024. So in 2020, he tried to send a mob to Congress, to kill Congress, and to delay the certification of the vote so he could kick it up to the Supreme Court. This time, he's not inside the government. He's not in a position of power necessarily. So instead, he doesn't have control over the Justice Department like he did when he was in the president. So instead, his goal is to send operatives to all the counties in the country. And then they will do whatever they can to delay the certification of the vote. The hope is, for them, their hope is, once they delay the certification of the vote then moves to the House of Representatives. And then the House of Representatives will vote on who becomes president. And since Republicans control the House of Representatives, it's likely that they will choose Donald Trump to be the president. So, in other words, they want to bypass the election. Donald Trump wants to bypass the election. So what's my evidence of this, right? How do I even know this is going to happen? Well, we can look at the first thing that happened in Nevada, right? In Nevada County votes against certifying recount results, a move that raises longer-term questions. So what happened? This was a story by Gabe Stern on July 9th. Right, so this happened about a month ago. So, real quick, the gist of it. Before we get into the story, in Nevada they had a primary, and at the conclusion of the primary, it was like close, but then they finished the primary, and then that was it. It was done. The I think county commission, the board is made up of 5 people. 3 Republicans, 1 Democrat, and 1 nonpartisan. And the 3 Republicans refused to vote to certify the election, the results of that election. They just refused. They didn't have any proof. They didn't have any evidence. They just refused. So it caused problems. It delayed the counting of the vote. And it got appealed up to like a higher level. I don't know, a higher court, or I don't know if it went to a higher office. I'm not sure what happened. But yeah, they were ordered to certify, and then so they eventually did. So let's read the story real quick. Reno, Nevada. Commissioners in Nevada's second most populous county on Tuesday refused to certify the results of 2 local recounts from last month's primary, a rare move that has potential implications for the presidential race in one of the most important swing states. So that's what I'm talking about, right? When I say it's the blueprint for what Donald Trump is going to do, literally this is what he's going to do. He's going to get his Republican people on election boards to do whatever they can in order to stop the vote from happening, or from being certified. So it was 3 Republicans on a 5-member board voted to reject the results. So it raises concerns about what could happen in November if local commission refuses to certify the presidential election results, right? That's exactly what's going to happen. That's exactly it. All over why do you think Donald Trump talks so much crap about the election results? I mean, because he lost, number one, right? But number two, he wants to sow distrust and anger inside his base, so that they will refuse to certify their election results all over the country. That's what he's going to try to do. So, once seen as a mundane and ministerial task, Election certification has become a pressure point since the 2020 election. So who else knows about this pressure point? Robert Beatles. Robert Beatles is a tech bro, a crypto bro, that made a bunch of money in California from crypto and then moved to Nevada in order to terrorize the workers who worked on the election, who count the votes, who do the stuff. He went to Nevada and used his money to set up challenges to all the places that were counting the votes, and he harassed the election workers so much that a bunch of them retired. They had been doing it for years, but after Robert Beatles, they said, you know what, this is like, I'm volunteering, dudes. I'm not getting paid for this fucking noise. Fuck you. I'm retiring. I'm done. Find someone else to do it. Robert Beatles caused this problem in Nevada because he wanted to overthrow the results of the election. The election had Donald Trump losing, and Robert Beatles, fucking wannabe oligarch, comes to Nevada and tries and harasses the election workers until he gets the result he wants. Well, imagine Robert Beatles times 50. Because that's their plan. That's their plan. They're going to do that. They're going to do a Robert Beatles in every single state, in every single county, to challenge every single result as much as they possibly can in order to slow down the whole thing, because their hope is to kick it to the House of Representatives. So, the certification standoff is the latest election controversy to Royal Washoe County, which includes Reno, which has narrowly voted for the Democrats. So there are conspiracy theories about voting machines and distrust of election administrators that have led to harassment and high turnover. That's Robert Beatles. I'm telling that, right? He's in the fucking news, dude. Robert Beatles, this crypto bro from California, came to Nevada just to fuck with Nevada's elections. What? Holy shit. The public comments were filled with residents who alleged irregularities in the election, demanded a hand recount of ballots, spouted false claims of stolen elections, and a cabal within the county. Like, crazy shit, dude. Like when you think of the stereotypical, like high desert dweller, like who lives in a trailer in the middle of the desert, and you think of who like spouts conspiracy theories, that's what was happening. Fuck Donald Trump. Fuck Robert Beatles. Let's see what else went on. Right. Against that backdrop, rapid election staff turnover in the county election department has also made certain administrative mistakes, like sending mail ballots to voters who had opted out of receiving them and misprinting certain local sample ballots, though none of them affected tabulation. So none of the mistakes affected the results of the election. But people are flipping out about these mistakes. And then why are these mistakes happening? Because there's been rapid turnover in the people who volunteered to do this kind of work. Why has there been rapid turnover suddenly? Because Donald Trump sends his mob of conspiracy theorists to harass election officials. Like, he's literally attacking our election at the weakest point, which is the volunteers who do the work. So that's when they say pressure point, that's what he's talking about. It's like fibromyalgia on a massive scale, like but countrywide scale. Your joints just get fucked because yeah, that's the articulation. That's where the movement happens, dudes. So like that's the machinery of it. Like they're attacking the machinery of our elections by doing this bullshit. by spreading this conspiracy theory. Donald Trump still talks about how the 2020 election was stolen from him, when he's never fucking proven it. He's had all these court chances to prove it, and he never did. He can never do it. He can never do it. It's not real. He can never do it. He can never do it. It's not happening. But yet people get brainwashed into it, and they fucking believe it, and then do shit like this where they harass local of regular ass people doing the election volunteer work. Like, that's why he does his lies, to drive people crazy to go attack their own elections. Like, I showed you a billion times that video of Yuri Bezmenov already. He tells you what their whole plan was, and it's so simple. It's to drive people so crazy that they can't defend themselves anymore, and they start attacking their own people. Donald Trump confuses his own followers so much that they attack their own country. I mean, he's doing the Russian thing to us, Donald Trump. And he gets a lot of help from the media. It kind of sucks. Like, he recently gave like a press conference, but it wasn't really a press conference because he invited in only friendly media who was terrified of him. Like, you look at the Biden press conference, and then you look at the Trump quote press conference, radically different. Trump sounds like a fucking like raving lunatic, whereas Biden sounded like coherent. He sounded old, but he was coherent. Biden actually answered the questions. Donald Trump never answered the questions that were asked to him. So this is an example of how Donald Trump is gonna try to steal the election. Ooh, there's a guy there. I finally got one. Yay! I got one. Okay. Look at Washoe County as a blueprint for how they're gonna, the manual for how they're gonna try to disrupt the election in 2024. They're gonna do what Robert Beatles did to Nevada, to all over the country, and to as many counties as they can. All right, check this out. This dude here, oh, he's holding an arrow. Nice. This dude here is gonna see this egg. They're like, and because they're a zombie, they're gonna try to stomp it and kill it. Right? I don't know why, but that's the nature of zombies. They try to kill turtle eggs. So I open the door, and he runs to it, but because it's a trap door, he thinks these are solid blocks, and it's not. So he fell down into the holding chamber, where I will move him into position. I will take a potion of weakness and a golden apple, and then so he will be weakened but not harmed. Did I get him? I don't know if I got him. Well, let's see. If he eats the apple. Ow, no, I missed him. Ah! Okay. Try this again. Yeah, I got him for real. I got myself too, but it's alright. Eat this apple. There we go. Give him knowledge. Force you to eat that knowledge. So be aware, guys. It's gonna they're gonna try to do another coup, but it's gonna be different this time. Now, you're gonna say, oh, that sounds kind of far-fetched. You're like, how do you know it's gonna be nationwide? That sounds kind of crazy, dude. You know, like, just because they did it in Nevada doesn't mean it's gonna happen in other places. This is so. Donald Trump had a rally in Georgia. You know, like like all those other outdoor rallies. But at this rally, guess who showed up? Guess who were the special people that got pointed out? Three commissioners, three officials who sat on the election board. The people who would vote to certify the election. 3 of them showed up to the Donald Trump rally, and Donald Trump pointed them out, Like, look, it's not me just imagining it. It actually happened.
I don't know if you've heard, but the Georgia State Election Board is in a very positive way. This is a very positive thing, Marjorie.
Why would it be very positive for Donald Trump? Why would Donald Trump say that the Georgia Election Board is in a very positive way? Election board's supposed to be neutral, dude. Like, it's not supposed to be anything. It's just supposed to be. Like, you're not even supposed to be aware of it as long as it's working properly. Like, but for some reason he says it's in a quote-unquote positive way. Would Kamala Harris agree that it's in a positive way? Would she agree? Probably not. Probably not. So then if it's positive, who is it positive for? It's positive for Donald Trump. Why would you want an election board to be positive for one candidate or another? You don't want it to be positive for anybody. You just want it to be. But for Donald Trump, it's positive. Something positive for him. Something positive for Donald Trump happened. What happened? Let's keep going.
They're on fire. They're doing a great job. 3 members. Janice Johnson, Rick Jeffries, and Janelle King. 3 people are all pit bulls fighting for honesty, transparency, and victory. They're fighting.
So they were there. This clip is too short, but the people in the audience were like pointing to the people that were there. He called out by name the Republicans on the election board. So that's sort of a wink wink nudge nudge to do what they did in Nevada, which is to refuse to certify the election if Donald Trump loses. Right. Do you see it? It's not just a one-off, guys. It's not a one-off. That he's gonna do that all over the country, in the Republican states at least, in the states where they have power, where they have people moved into key positions. Be ready. Be ready. So something funny. This is what's called a dilemma. This is a dilemma. So you have 2 buttons. One button says rapists and convicts are freely crossing our borders. So that's concern. Like, oh my gosh, I'm concerned that that's a bad thing that rapists and convicts are freely crossing our borders. And then the other button says, let's let a rapist and a convict run the country. Ah! And then down here, MAGA. That's MAGA, and they're sweating. They're confused. They're not sure what to do. Because which is it? These are contradictory positions. These are contradictory positions. You can't say it's a bad thing that rapists and convicts are freely entering the country if at the same time you're saying rapists and convicts should be the leader of our country. Right? How do you say that? Like, is it a bad thing that they're crossing the border? If it's bad, then why are you electing one? Like, I can understand if you would say, oh yeah, it's a good thing that rapists and convicts are freely crossing into the United States while you vote for a rapist and convict, because then it kind of gels together. Everything gels. Then it's like, oh, that's because you're a bad person. You want bad people to come in and run the country. You're a bad person. Then it makes sense, right? But when you come up and say rapists and convicts are bad people, at the same time you say I want to elect a rapist and convict, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't. Are you a bad guy or a good guy? Like, what's going on? So this guy got cured. This guy figured it out. We're gonna send him to the village. Go into the village. Go, little man, go. Wee. Live your new life. Be free. be free. You can be free, be free. You can be free, be free. Okay. What else do I got here? So here's another thing, right? This like, I want to start highlighting the inconsistencies with fascists. The fascists are built on inconsistencies. That's all they are, dude. They're just inconsistencies. So here we have photos, right? These are typically called Christmas photos, where Americans take pictures with their family around Christmas time, which is an American Christian holiday, around the solstice, the winter solstice, near the same time. Now this person, this guy here, his name, and this guy here, same guy. His name is Thomas Massey. He's a representative. He serves as a representative for his people in the U.S. Congress. And you note, right? Christmas is supposed to be about peace, because if you know the story, there's a story associated with Christmas, and the story is the government was coming to like kill babies, and so these parents fled. They fled, but when they fled, there was no room for them. Like, so they went to like a place where that was considered too low for people. It was only for animals. And in that place, they gave birth to their baby, and it's a big celebration. So it's a celebration of hope and overcoming. And here they're posing with not only with the Christmas tree, but also firearms, which are tools to efficiently kill human beings. A tool to efficiently project power. And the children are wielding them. And look, here's another one, Laura Bobbitt. I think Lorena something, Laura Babbitt, I don't know. That's her kids, right? All with these firearms. As opposed to, these are Republicans, right? As opposed to like a pretty normal picture of Tim Waltz and his family. Like they're posing, I think, in front of a church, and they got their pets and their kids, and yeah, they're not holding weapons of death. One of these things is not like the others. I thought that's funny. Yeah, dude, I'm like, it's weird. I feel it's like, yeah, it's weird. We're an upside down land. I don't know. Things are all upside down, because you got a cop and an army dude. Well, prosecutor. You have a prosecutor and an army dude running to be president, and the leftists and well, not the leftists, but the liberals are all like, "Yay!" and the Republicans are all boo. What? And then you have a criminal. And what? Like, what is Tim Vance? A weirdo? I don't know. Weirdo. Running for vice president and or running for office, and the Republicans are like, "Yay, go criminal! Beat that prosecutor! Go crime!" Like, oh, my head! Hello. Rack him up, knock him down. all in that corner. Come on. There we go. So yeah. Fuck Donald Trump. Let's go check out our dude. What's he up to? Yeah. Don't believe that the Republican Party suddenly changed. This is just the logical conclusion of what they're about. And it's a playing out of remember, it's not like it's a new thing. They're playing out the original sin of the United States that was never rectified. They're the result of a contradiction that's baked into the existence of the United States, and that's still being manifested today. Look at Gaza. That's exactly a manifestation of the contradiction of the United States. Oh shit. U.S. ambassador to Japan to skip atomic bomb memorial service in Nagasaki because Israel was not invited. Emmanuel, like, that's some fucked up shit. That was fucked up shit. Israel didn't even exist when the United States nuked Japan. Israel wasn't even there. And Israel is currently in the midst of committing a war crime. Of committing war crimes. Why should America have any say as to who Japan invites or doesn't invite? That's fucked up. That's fucked up. I don't know if that's a call from Biden or if that's a call from Rahm, what's his name? Rahm Emanuel. Like, if it's a call from the Biden administration, it has to be, right? He can't just act independently. The Biden administration signed off on boycotting the atomic bomb ceremony that it's responsible for. The reason why it's there is because the United States is the one who did it. Like, that's why there's the event. That's why it's there. And the Biden administration boycotted it for Israel? For a right-wing, like, terrorist nation? What are you doing, dude? What are you doing? That's gross. Like, see, I think that's why Biden didn't have didn't generate the excitement that Harris does. Because Biden reflects an old form of the United States. Like, like, there's no reason for this genocide to be happening. There's no reason. Except the United States is helping it. And is involved in it. Because that's the old pattern for the United States. And Joe Biden represents the old pattern, I guess. I don't know, maybe and if Kamala Harris cannot break with the old pattern, she's gonna have problems too. It's just it's just the natural continuity of an issue that was never resolved. It's like, oh, it's still there because it was never taken care of. Just like the Confederacy. It was never taken care of. So it keeps coming back in the modern, and now we see it in the modern Republican Party. But yeah, like it's disgusting that the United States is gonna boycott the A-bomb ceremony, remembrance ceremony, because of Israel. Like, oh, that's like who's like, it feels like wag the dog. It's really weird. What's this? What? Oh, JD Vance. Remember I said JD Vance is weird? Check this out. He gave an interview. Listen to what he says. So JD Vance is a politician. He doesn't say things straight. He always makes things as confusing as possible, so he can say the truth without having it be easily heard. So let's check out what he does. JD Vance says, "This is one of the great tricks that I think the sexual revolution pulled on the American populace," Vance said. Which is this idea that, like, well, okay, these marriages were fundamentally, you know, they were maybe even violent, but certainly they were unhappy. And so getting rid of them and making it easier for people to shift spouses like they change their underwear, that's going to make people happier in the long term. Yes! 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 Of course, right? Yes. So what JD Vance is saying, that it's a bad idea for people to leave marriages that are unhappy or violent. Bad for who, dude? It's bad if people can easily leave marriages that are unhappy or violent. That's what JD Vance is saying, in the most convoluted method possible. That's what he's saying. Why would JD Vance say that it's bad for people to leave marriages that are unhappy or violent? Well, in the vast majority of cases, the unhappy person is the woman, and the violent person is the man. So JD Vance is saying that it's bad for men if women can easily leave marriages in which they are unhappy or they are being attacked with violence. Damn, JD Vance, that's creepy. That's weird, but it's creepy. It's creepy. But that's what he said. So JD Vance added, and maybe it worked out for moms and dads, though I'm skeptical. So it worked out, but I don't believe it. But it really didn't work out for the kids of those marriages. And I think that's what all of us should be honest about. We've run this experiment in real time, and what we have is a lot of very, very real family dysfunction that's making our kids unhappy. I would think that kids would be more unhappy in a situation where the parents were unhappy and violent. I would think they would be better off not in that environment. In fact, that's why we have this reoccurring issue with violence, because the cycle is never broken. Kids grow up seeing unhappy relationships, and then they reproduce them instead of healing past it, instead of making the change, the responsible change that would save both people. And yeah, like, it tends to, like, the people saying stick it out, enjoy your violent, unhappy marriage, the people saying that tend to be men. Because why? Because it's good for the man. Like, the violence is rarely directed at the man. It's usually coming from towards the woman. And remember what I said earlier, like, you can't have true freedom with violence. That's not free. Violence by nature is is not free. Now, I'm not saying defense. I'm not saying don't defend yourself. I'm saying violence. Yeah. Like, that's ridiculous. J.D. Vance is a fucking misogynist. He hates women. He wants women to be subservient and to have no rights. But that's what it's all about, right? That's what the Republicans are all about. They're about shoving women back into the position they were in the 1900s, where where women had to be subservient to men. They had no vote, they could not own property, they had no rights, they had nothing. That's what J.D. Vance and Donald Trump stand for. With their own words, dude. It's not me telling you. It's because that's what they say. Like, but they say it in a tricky way so that you don't hear it. And yeah, they're tricky. They're tricky devils. So yeah, I'm a bit of a poet. I was. I probably still am, but yeah. I heard about my neighbor who made a huge life-altering decision based on the words of a song. I'm like, damn, that's some commitment to art. That's a commitment to art. But I fancy myself a bit of a poet sometimes. So I wrote a poem once. The word is sacred. They who break it are fake kids who lack proof, make hidden and darken truth. In others, so I use the word black in truth, but I hate using that word because I later on I came to understand that equating black with negative is like not a good thing. But I wrote this poem a long time ago, so I'm sorry. I apologize. But let me say it again. The word is sacred. They who break it are fake kids who lack proof, make hidden and blacken truth. In other words, they slur the gift God gave us, the word. And Donald Trump and J.D. Vance and the Republicans, they disrespect the word all the time. They misuse language all the time in order to gain power. Okay. What else do I got here? What is this? February 19th, or February 21st, 2019. President Donald... Dude, where'd you come from? There's no zombie should be here. Alright. President Donald Trump appoints individuals to key administrative posts. President Trump appointed the following individuals to be members of the Council of Governors. Governor Tim Walz of Minnesota. Yo, Donald Trump really liked Tim Walz when he was president. So you can't believe him when he says Tim Walz is when Donald Trump talks shit about Tim Walz, because just the other day he was talking about good stuff about Tim Walz. So what's the real truth there, Donald? He'll never tell you. I gotta fix that. This is like no good, dude. Look at that. Well, it's better, right? It's better. There's an actual path now. Whereas before there was no path. Really what I need is a train line. So I don't have to run. But yeah, I gotta make this into a little meeting area. Maybe dig out the sand. Come over here. I gotta make farmers. Bring in more people. I can make a better, like, station. And then, yeah, more stuff. Okay. John Kelly confirms Trump privately disparaged U.S. service members and veterans. Trump called fallen soldiers suckers and losers during his presidency, according to a 2020 report in The Atlantic. So, yeah, I'm going to get coffee while I talk about who do you believe? Who do you believe? John Kelly was Donald Trump's chief of staff. Donald Trump picked this guy. This guy, John Kelly, is a retired Marine general. He was a general of the Marines. And the Marines are known to be a tough group. So this guy was the general of this tough group. And man, this thing is so like, woo! It can't quite get like a focus on me. I don't have enough light, maybe. Blinded by the light, rubbed up like a deuce, another runner in the night. Blinded by the light, blinded by the light. Ha 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 ha. Okay, what do we got here? John Kelly. Who are you gonna believe? John Kelly, retired Marine general, or Donald Trump, convicted felon for criminal fraud? Who do you believe? A con man or retired general? Who are you gonna believe? And you would not imagine how many Americans believe the con man over the retired general. You would not believe how many. So many. So many. Okay. So this map serves two purposes. It's the 2020 presidential election results by county. This map is to show you that even though they might show you an electoral map that shows the country looking all red, you have to understand those places are like empty of people. No one lives there. In the places where people live, in other words, in the counties with lots of people, those counties are overwhelmingly blue. Like there's two places where the circles, well, maybe three, these ones right here, but all of these are pretty small compared to the giant sized blue ones. But yeah, and look, why does the population stop right there? What's that line? That looks like a crazy line. So this represents the geographic line where rain starts to fall on the ground. Everything west of this line, rain doesn't fall. So if you don't have a river or a well or a lake, there's no water. You don't get any water. But once you hit this line in geography, suddenly it rains pretty frequently. It rains frequently and regularly enough that there's like vegetation and life can be sustained there easily. Large populations. Like that just by geography, man. That's, you know, by weather patterns. That's it. Purely weather patterns. It's set by weather patterns. So, a tweet by Brandon Wolf. Simply for reference, this guy could serve 8 years as vice president, run in 2032, win, serve 8 years as president, leave in office in 2041, and still be younger than Donald Trump is today. So, yeah, Donald Trump is old, dude. Donald Trump should probably drop out of the race. There was a story recently. He had a rally in Montana. But for some reason, instead of flying to the city where he had the rally, he flew into an airport like an hour and a half away. He had to drive for fucking ever in order to get to the rally. And everyone was like, why did it happen? Why did it happen? And the official explanation was there was a hydraulic leak and they needed an emergency landing. That's the official reason that they gave. But it turns out what really happened was the Trump campaign didn't pay its fueling costs in the other airport. So they wouldn't refuel his plane until he paid the fueling costs. And since he wasn't going to pay the fueling costs, he couldn't land there. He had to go land somewhere else and then drive to where his rally was. I can't believe they want to hire, holy shit. Ah, that's funny. I can't believe they want to make this guy president. Alright, what's this? What's that? I don't know. I don't care. I don't care. That's all like text. I don't want to read it. Anyways, I've shown you the evidence for why I think they're going to try to overthrow the election again in a widely dispersed attempt focused on local places, because that's the way it's worked for them in the past. AKA Robert Beatles. They're going to do the Robert Beatles strategy all over the country. And it won't work in the counties that are controlled by Democrats, but it might work better in other places that aren't controlled by Democrats, or if they even lean Republican. Like, it might work. So their goal is to kick it to the House of Representatives so Republicans can award themselves the presidency. Yeah, this is like an epic battle. Epic battle between the forces of fascism and the forces of democracy. So, all right. Who knows what's gonna happen? Things are crazy. So, hold on, hang out there, hang out. Like, hold on. Try to encourage other people to vote. There's a huge chunk of Americans who don't even bother to vote. Maybe they've been discouraged and don't feel like their vote matters, or that it even matters. But it does matter. It does matter. The more people who participate in democracy, the better it is. So you get all the citizens to participate in democracy, and it works the best. So I encourage you to find a person who maybe hasn't voted, doesn't want to vote, or is like thinking about skipping the election, and get them engaged and get them in the game with the rest of us, so we can all play along. Okay, until next time, America. Peace. Pogo Kiddo out. Stop.